Introduction. In this session, we are going to discuss about the IncoTerms, also known as International Trade Terms, which are standardized rules created by the International Chamber of Commerce. It is very important to understand the roles and responsibilities of the seller and the buyer when it comes to international trade. Here, you can see some of the most commonly used IncoTerms. Ex works. Freight on board. Cost and freight. Cost, insurance and freight. Now, let's understand each of these IncoTerms with a real-life example. Ex works. Let's take ABC Company, located in the United States, as the buyer. And let's assume that the supplier is located in Germany. Under the Ex works terms, the supplier will simply inform the buyer once the goods are ready at their warehouse. From that point, the buyer, ABC Company, takes 100% responsibility for moving the goods from the supplier's warehouse all the way to their own warehouse in the United States. This means the buyer must pay for inland trucking in Germany, export customs clearance, international freight, marine insurance, import customs duty and taxes, and finally, local delivery to their warehouse. In short, all the costs and risks are borne by the buyer under Ex works. Freight on board. Now, let's look at freight on board. Here, the seller is responsible for transporting the goods from their warehouse to the nearest departure port, including trucking charges, loading costs, and export customs clearance. Once the goods are loaded onto the ship at the port of departure, the responsibility shifts to the buyer. From that moment, the buyer must pay for ocean freight, insurance, import clearance, customs duty, and final trucking to their warehouse. In summary, seller's responsibility ends at the port of departure. Buyer's responsibility starts from the shipping port to their warehouse. Cost and freight. Next, let's discuss cost and freight. Under this term, the seller bears more responsibility. The seller will cover inland transportation, export clearance, loading charges, and even the ocean freight cost until the goods reach the destination port. However, insurance is not included under CFR. That means, from the destination port onward, the buyer is responsible for marine insurance, import clearance, customs duty, and trucking to their warehouse. To summarize, seller pays up to the destination port, excluding insurance. Buyer covers insurance and all costs after arrival. CIF, cost, insurance and freight. Finally, let's talk about CIF, cost, insurance and freight. This is very similar to CFR with one key difference. In CIF, the seller also pays for marine insurance along with inland transport, export customs clearance, loading costs, and the ocean freight charges. The buyer is only responsible for import clearance, customs duty, and final trucking to their warehouse. In summary, seller covers costs up to the destination port, including insurance. Buyer only covers costs after the port. Impact of IncoTerms on item cost. Now, let's see how these terms impact the final landed cost of a product. Suppose our company, ABC Company, buys t-shirts from the supplier at the rate of $10 each, with a minimum order quantity of 1,000 pieces. That means the product cost is $10,000. Now let's add the other charges. Inland transport cost from supplier's warehouse to port, $500. Export customs clearance cost, $200. Ocean freight cost, $1,500. Marine insurance cost, $300. Using these figures, Let's compare the final cost under each IncoTerm. Let us now compare the prices under different IncoTerms. First, X works. The buyer arranges everything from the supplier's factory. The buyer's cost is product $10,000 plus inland transport $500 plus export documents $200 plus ocean freight $1,500 plus insurance $300. That makes a total landed cost of $12,500. The seller's responsibility is only to make the goods available at the factory. Next, free on board or FOB. The supplier delivers the goods to the port and clears export. The buyer pays for freight and insurance. The buyer's cost is product $10,000 plus ocean freight $1,500 plus insurance $300. That makes a total landed cost of $11,800. The seller covers inland transport $500 and export documents $200. Next, cost and freight or CFR. The supplier pays until the goods reach the USA port, but insurance is not included. The buyer's cost is product $10,000 plus insurance $300. That makes a total landed cost of $10,300. The seller covers inland transport $500 plus export documents $200 plus ocean freight $1,500. Finally, cost, insurance and freight or CIF. The supplier pays all costs up to the USA port, including insurance. The buyer's cost is only the product $10,000. That makes a total landed cost of $10,000. DHE seller covers inland transport $500, export documents $200, ocean freight $1,500 and insurance $300. Conclusion. As you can see, the choice of IncoTerm has a direct impact on the buyer's final landed cost. Under EXW, the buyer bears maximum responsibility and cost. Under CIF, the seller bears most of the responsibility and cost, making it easiest for the buyer. FOB and CIF fall in between, with shared responsibilities. Understanding these IncoTerms is essential for international trade because they clearly define who pays what and who bears the risk at each stage of shipping. In NetSuite, click on the drop-down list in the IncoTerms. Select EXW. This is our supplier shipment terms or IncoTerms. This means the buyer must pay for inland trucking in Germany, export customs clearance, international freight, marine insurance, import customs duty and taxes, and finally, local delivery to their warehouse. In short, all the costs and risks are borne by the buyer under Xworks. Welcome to my course, NetSuite ERP Fundamentals. If you want to master NetSuite from the basics to real-world application, this course is designed for you. This training will guide you step by step through the core concepts of NetSuite ERP. You will learn how to navigate the system with confidence. You will understand key modules such as financial management, sales, purchasing, and inventory. I will explain business processes in a simple and practical way. This course is suitable for beginners, professionals, and anyone looking to build a career in ERP. No prior NetSuite experience is required. By the end of this course, you will have a strong foundation and practical knowledge of NetSuite ERP. The course link is given in the description below, so please click on the link. If you are ready to upgrade your skills and grow your career, enroll now on Udemy. I look forward to seeing you inside the course.